To anybody new coming into Guild Wars 2, in the last like 3 or 4 days, I've been asked a few questions, and one of them from either returning players, new players, is, hey, I'm having a hard time choosing a class, or asking me what my favorite class is. The answer that I can give is going to be very complicated, because Guild Wars 2 is different than a lot of other MMOs in terms of class dynamics. So I changed the question, especially for PvP, when people ask me like what I like to play, like what class is my favorite in PvP. At one point you could ask me, it would be Warrior, but it was really only because of the role that Warrior sat in. So when I look at it now, you want to think about what you want to play, especially in PvP, as like what role would you like to fulfill? Role being either like support, duelist, or like DPS. So for the longest time, Warrior was a duelist in PvP. As far as like you can take 1v1s, take out numbers, defend a point. Like your main objective was either defending a point or holding a stalled node, right? Occasionally like filling the gap and backcapping if needed. But then there was a switch where Warrior ended up becoming the strongest support in the game. So then if I wanted to continue playing Warrior, I had to make the decision that, do I want to swap to that support role? Right? Because the weapon system is really unique in Guild Wars. Like, it's the one game I don't know any other games where you have a warrior that can use a rifle. And most of the time when I hear warriors from other MMOs, they're like 99 to 100% melee based only. So within any class, you can have bunk builds because your armor isn't set based on whatever role you have. In PvP alone, you can actually select your amulet to decide what kind of build you want to run. So they'll give you specific attributes like healing power, right? That's going to be more suited for a support class, or condition damage for like a condition build. So you have a lot of different flavors within one specific class. On top of that, you have the professional, the specializations. So what I want to just break down is, if you're coming into Guild Wars 2 and you're really trying to play a game, and your hardest decision at first is like, what class do I play? I would not worry about it, because if you play this game long enough, I promise you, you're going to multi-class, and it encourages you to multi-class. You have 3 armor sets, you have heavy, light, and medium, and if you get legendary gear, you can actually use your heavy armor on all 3 of the professions, so Guardian, Warrior, and Revenant. So you don't have to grind armor for each individual character, right? Build diversity, you can make so many different unique builds, especially for like world versus world or PvE. So what I always say is, definitely, if there is a certain role that you want to play, or if you like a certain weapon set, you might want to go with that class first, but never feel like you're going to have this whole sunk cost fallacy where you can never reroll, where you're just going to be permanently stuck. And for me, I've actually, in most MMOs I've ever played, I understand. I've played one class, I never really got off that class, I stuck with it the entire way through, especially because there's vertical progression, right? So like, and it's gear specific. For example, like Final Fantasy 14, since I play multiple games, I stick with Viper mainly, so I can get my Viper basically maxed out to as high as possible. If I want to do alt, I can, but really, it's not as easy because of the time that is required for that. But this little pie shows you, yeah, there are some professions I'm still playing. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Warrior, I stuck with Warrior for 6 or 7 years in PvP alone, because it was one of the best duelists in the game for a long time, especially in Spellbreaker. And then I started moving on to different classes, and now you see me playing a lot of different ones most recently, where I've been playing like Necro, Guardian, Revenant, Thief, Support Tempest, Support Warrior, Support Guardian, all of it, right? So at the end of the day, what I'm really trying to just get across is that you play what you like at first, but never feel like you can never go back and play something else. It's a lot easier to learn another class as well in this game, because mechanics are quite similar across the board. And if you're fighting them in PvP, and naturally you're just going to pick up on the moves because you're going to be getting hit by them, right? So that's all. Basically, I don't think you should worry about what you need to play, okay?